What is going on, Raiders? Soda Dragon here. Welcome and hope you guys are doing well. So if you guys have kept up with the channel, you guys know I've done a ton of Iron Twins videos. From full block damage and unkillable teams to killable teams and teams with Geo and teams without. So in my last Iron Twins video, I gave you guys a new slow tune for the Iron Twins using either Santa or Rosh card and 3 Painkeepers. So basically, these were the slowest speeds possible that you could use to achieve your unkillable or block damage team. So I mentioned a few times in the video that no, you couldn't just substitute in Helicath for either Rosh card or Santa because Helicath buffs more than Rosh card or Santa, and since we're not using decreased speed against the boss is going to get a turn meter boost. So basically, no, you can't simply swap out Helicath for Santa or Rosh card using the same slow speeds that I showed you guys. Well, I've been working on this for a while and wasting a ton of energy refills for you guys, but I came up with a new slow tune for Helicath. So this is a triple Painkeeper comp, and these speeds, my goodness, this is pretty much the slowest you can get. So previous to this, you guys might have seen it from myself or others who have done videos. For a Helicath unkillable team for Iron Twins 15, basically you needed Helicath at about 280 speed and everybody else on the team, your triple Painkeeper team, to be over 200. Everyone around 215, I think. So basically everyone over 200 with Helicath at about 280. Well, I figured out a way to cut the speeds down so much, especially for Helicath. So no, you don't need an almost 300 speed Helicath anymore. So guys, using Iang's calculator here on iang.com, it's free, check it out. I've been able to come up with a team that is significantly slower than the previous team. Look at Helicath. We're not talking 280 speed, 257. That is a serious drop in speed. I mean, 23 speed, that is absolutely huge. Now, there's a minimum threshold, and that is to be faster than the boss. We always have to be over 250. But beyond that, that's just barely faster than the boss. So once again, no more 280, we're looking at 257 as a minimum speed. Now, Armiger here is your DPS role, so really you can put anybody in here. Now, the Armiger slot or the DPS slot, the speeds are very tight. I think it's only 179, 180, and 181. That might be it. It's very, very tight. So you're going to need really tight speeds, and double check your speeds on the calculator here. So for the Painkeepers, check out the speeds. Remember, they were all 215 or over, right? Or at least over 200. Look at the speeds that we got now. Our fastest Painkeeper, only 215. Only one of them, okay? Look at the second Painkeeper, the second fastest, 182. And look at the slowest. This is ridiculous. A 160 speed Painkeeper. Now, guys, I'm not just giving you a calculator team here. This is one I've tried out, and it works. Plus, it's been taking me days to try out different teams because there are some speeds and some teams that supposedly work on the calculator that I couldn't get to work. So I'm trying to give you the lowest speeds possible that I could actually get to work. So that's the thing. You got to test these things out. Maybe it's my fault. I don't know. Maybe I'm not using the calculator correctly, but it seems like there were some speeds that were lower than this that the calculator said would work, but I couldn't make work. So I'm giving you stuff that I have tested, and it's took me a long time and a lot of wasted energy to give you these speeds. But yes, they do work, and you'll see proof. So guys, as far as the champion requirements for the 3 Painkeepers and the Helicath, so we're not considering your DPS at this point. As far as our champion requirements for those essential champs to this comp, it is pretty much almost non-existent, okay? You don't need any rank ups, any levels up, any ascensions. You don't need none of that. And as far as gear, any gear to get you to the speed. So basically, we're looking for 2 things from our Painkeepers and our Helicath. Having the right skills booked out and having the right speed. That is absolutely it. Okay, absolutely it. Now, if you want to do a little bit more, you can. For example, I do have my 3 Painkeepers and Toxic sets. So if you want to do that, that's fine. I don't think it adds a ton of difference as far as the clear time, making it faster. But if you want to do that, that's fine. But it is absolutely not required. And the thing is, guys, you can literally pull these guys today from shards. They can be level 1s. And as long as you book the right skills and put just enough gear on them to get them to the right speeds, you can use them in this comp. So what skills need to be booked? Well, as far as the Painkeepers, I had all 3 of the Painkeepers have their A3 maxed out. So their cooldown reduction skill, all 3 of them have to have that maxed out. Now, in previous videos, I had kind of like a mismatch of the A2s. Some of them had the A2s fully booked out, some of them did not. But in order to simplify things, I've completely booked out all of the Painkeepers A2s as well. Now, does it make a difference to the comp to have the A2s booked out? Yes, it does. Because it means they're using their A1s less, and their A1s increase their own turn meter. So it actually makes a difference to the run, and you should input that into the calculator, whether or not you have the A2 fully booked out or not. Just input the cooldowns, how much that is. But yes, it makes a difference. If the Painkeepers are using their A1s less, then that means they're increasing their own turn meter less, and they'll probably fall out of sync a little bit slower. So yes, it does matter for the Painkeepers, but absolutely 100% the A3 needs to be booked out on the Painkeepers. Now the A2 is up to you. You guys can kind of mess with it in the calculator. For me and my 3 Painkeepers, all 3 of them have the A2 booked out as well. So the A3s and the A2s booked out for my Painkeepers. Now for Helicath, all you need is the A3, that's it. I have 1 cooldown on my Helicath's A2, but I don't think it makes that much of a difference. So definitely put that in the calculator though, whatever you have. If you have the full maxed out A2 cooldown, then put that in. If you don't, that's fine, put that into calculator. But I know at least for the A3, that block damage, you must have that fully booked. Now for your DPS, what kind of gear do you need? I don't know, because I don't know who you're going to use. I know that for Armiger, you're going to need crit damage, crit rates, and you're going to need defense percentage, because his damage is based on defense. So you need stats like that in addition to the speed. But for somebody like Geo, all I need is the speed and accuracy. That is it. It's nice to have his A3 booked out, right? That reflect damage, skill, that HP burn. But I mean, it's not like absolutely required to the run. It's just be a little bit slower if you didn't have that booked out. But besides that, Geo only needs 2 stats. Someone like Armiger here needs more stats than that. So it really depends on who you plan to use. But once again, the tolerances for speed are very tight on your DPS. I think it's only 179, 180, and 181. And put in how many speed sets you're using for your champions, because the tolerances might be even tighter than that depending on how many speed sets or perception sets you're using, because it calculates past that decimal. Now guys, as far as the speed tolerances for everybody else but your DPS, the thing is you can go higher, but this is probably the limit as far as how low you can go. So can you go a few more speed higher for a lot of these champions, these Painkeepers and Helicath? Yes, you can. But can you go lower than this? Probably not. Okay, so yes, you can probably go a little bit higher with these speeds, but likely not lower. But like I said, guys, double check everything in the calculator. Maybe some of you guys will come up with some super duper slow comp that's even slower than this one. All right, guys, next up, the skill instruction. So for Helicath here, you can put Devoted Servants as #1 here, though probably if you left everything as default, it would run just fine, because this is his normal first priority anyway. So it's up to you guys. So for Armiger, if you plan to use him, you want his A2 here, his enemy max HP skill, to be #1, because normally he doesn't use it unless an enemy is close to death. And we want him to use it like all the time, or as much as possible. So if you're using Armiger, put his A2 as the first priority. If you're using Geo, turn off the A2 and you can put the A3 as the first priority. So you don't want him using his A2, because if you're using the Mastery Charged Focus, I believe it's called, you're not going to get the bonus accuracy from it. So turn off Geo's A2 and put the A3 as his first priority. Now for the Painkeepers, all 3 of them are going to have the same priorities, so the same numbers here, the same 1s and 2s. What's the 1 going to be? It's going to be Combat Tactics, and all 3 of them are going to have #2 here as Spectacular Sweep. But some of them are going to have different openers. So for your fastest one, your 215, you're just going to leave it completely default as far as the opener. So naturally, having Combat Tactics #1 here, that's going to be the first one she uses, right? Well, for your 2 slower ones, you're going to have actually Spectacular Sweep as the opener. So once again, your 2 slower Painkeepers, Spectacular Sweep is going to be the opener. And for your fastest Painkeeper here, no opener. So she's just going to default to the priorities here, which is going to be Combat Tactics. And that is it. Now guys, as far as your DPS4 block damage team, I'd still recommend Geo over anybody else. He's still the fastest. If you guys have seen a previous video that I did, I tested out Crezia versus Geo, and guess who got faster clear times? Of course, it was Geo. Significantly faster, by minutes. Geo did faster on a block damage team. So yes, if you have Geo, still use him for your block damage teams. He's still going to be faster, but your second choice is going to be your enemy max HP champ. So the only reason I use Armiger here was basically to test things out, to see how long this team would stay in sync. And this team stays in long enough that Armiger kills off the boss. So this is like a really long run. It's like 7 to 8 minutes. I'm not going to show you that one. I'm going to show you the faster one with Geo. But I mean, this team stayed in sync the whole time. So even if you're using a slower DPS, that's the thing. I think this team will stay in sync for you. It should be just fine. But if you have Geo, once again, use him. Even for your block damage teams, he is going to be the fastest. So guys, everything is full auto. All you need to do is click battle, come back in a few minutes, and get your rewards. All right, guys, so I could show you everyone's gear, but really there is no point. Once again, all we need from the gear is our certain speeds. That is it. So it's almost a waste of time to show you their gear, to be honest. Use whatever gear you have, broken sex, it doesn't matter. Get them to the right speeds and book out the right skills, and that is it. Now, your DPS is a different story. You might need to book them out. You might need to level them up, ascend them. You might need to rank them up, whatever, okay? You might need to get masteries on them to get them to do big damage, but that's your DPS. That's your personal choice. So do whatever you need to do for that champ to get them to do max damage. But for everybody else, all you need from their gear is to get them to the right speeds. The gear does not matter beyond that. So guys, if this video has been helpful to you, do me a favor and click the like button and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, plus it is free to you. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay safe, and I will see you in the next video.